The frankincense smoke curls around her throne as distant drums announce another caravan's arrival. Queen Makeda's fingers trace the golden armrest, calculating profits that will reshape kingdoms. Her empire's wealth flows like the Red Sea itself, endless, powerful, and about to change the course of history forever. This is 950 BC. In the highlands of what we now call Ethiopia and Yemen, a woman commands an empire that spans 2 continents. Her name is Makeda, though the world will remember her as the Queen of Sheba. She controls the most valuable trade routes on earth, the passages where frankincense, myrrh, gold, and precious stones flow from Africa to Asia, from the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean. But Makeda is no ordinary ruler inheriting wealth. She builds it. At 25, she has transformed scattered kingdoms into a unified empire. Her ships dominate the Red Sea. Her caravans stretch across deserts that swallow armies. When she speaks, merchants from Babylon to Egypt listen. When she moves, kingdoms tremble. The palace walls of Aksum echo with the sounds of her court, scribes recording tributes from distant lands, architects planning new cities, generals mapping territories that stretch beyond the horizon. Makeda moves through these halls with the confidence of someone who has never known defeat. Her advisors scramble to match her pace as she reviews reports from spies embedded in foreign courts, trade agreements that will determine which kingdoms prosper and which fade into dust. Yet something gnaws at her. News arrives daily of a king in Jerusalem whose wisdom supposedly surpasses all others. Solomon, they call him. The stories seem impossible, a man who speaks with animals, who builds temples that defy imagination, whose judgment settles disputes that baffle other rulers for years. In her private chambers, surrounded by scrolls and maps, Makeda finds herself wondering, could there truly be someone whose mind rivals her own? The decision forms slowly, like dawn breaking over mountain peaks. She will go to Jerusalem. Not as a supplicant, but as an equal. Not to bow, but to test. She commands her treasurers to prepare gifts worthy of her empire, 120 talents of gold, enough spices to perfume an entire city, precious stones that catch light like capture starfire. Her fleet prepares for the journey that will define both their reigns. The Red Sea crossing takes 18 days. Makeda stands at her ship's prow, watching familiar shores disappear behind her. She carries with her the hopes of an empire, the curiosity of a brilliant mind, and questions that will echo through millennia. Her courtiers whisper among themselves, what if this Solomon proves unworthy? What if he insults their queen? What if this journey weakens their position among rival kingdoms? But Makeda sees further. She understands what they cannot, that true power isn't threatened by encountering other forms of greatness. It grows stronger through such encounters. Jerusalem rises before them like a vision carved from stone and gold. Solomon's temple gleams in the morning sun, its bronze pillars and cedar walls proclaiming a prosperity that rivals her own. The meeting of these two rulers will become legend, recorded in the Hebrew Bible, the Ethiopian Kebro Nagast, and the Islamic Quran, 3 of humanity's most influential texts. For 3 months, they match wits. Makeda poses riddles that would stump lesser minds. Solomon responds with wisdom that impresses even her sharpest advisors. They discuss philosophy, trade, governance, the mysteries of creation itself. Two brilliant rulers, two magnificent empires, finding in each other the intellectual equal they never expected to meet. But this is more than diplomacy. These conversations reshape both kingdoms. Trade agreements flow from their discussions. Architectural innovations travel both ways. Most importantly, the alliance creates a power block that will influence the ancient world for generations. The Ethiopian tradition holds that their union produces a son, Menelik I, founder of the dynasty that will rule Ethiopia until 1974. Whether literal or symbolic, this represents something profound, the joining of African and Middle Eastern wisdom, the birth of ideas that will outlast empires. When Makeda returns to her kingdom, she brings more than Solomon's gifts. She carries new concepts of justice, innovative building techniques, expanded trade networks. Her empire enters its golden age. Cities rise where only villages existed. Her influence spreads across the Horn of Africa, down the coast, across the sea. Yet for 3 millennia, the world has diminished her story. Colonial narratives reduced her to a footnote in Solomon's tale. Some denied her African identity entirely. Others questioned her historical existence. But the evidence speaks. Archaeological discoveries in modern Ethiopia and Yemen reveal the sophisticated civilization she ruled. Ancient inscriptions mention Sabaean queens. Trade goods bearing her kingdom's marks appear in museums worldwide. Makeda's story matters because it shatters myths we've been told about our past. She proves that African women wielded international power when most of the world lived in scattered tribes. She demonstrates that our ancestors built empires, controlled global trade, shaped world history. Her legacy lives in every African woman who refuses to shrink herself to fit others' expectations. In every entrepreneur who builds something magnificent from nothing. In every leader who seeks wisdom rather than just power. The frankincense smoke has long since cleared from her throne room. But Queen Makeda's example burns eternal, brilliant, uncompromising, and undeniably ours.